Hi everyone, my name's Dirge, and if there's one thing I like more than playing 20-year-old video games, it's tasting 20-year-old video games. And right now, I'm in the mood for some Westfall stew. And lucky for me, there's a recipe for that in the official WoW cookbook. Let's have a look, shall we? Westfall stew. Wait a second. Beef? Mushrooms? Red wine? That isn't Westfall stew at all. That's Boeuf Bourguignon. That's a pretty well-known recipe. No, real Westfall stew requires vulture meat, murloc eyes, gorstok snouts, and okra. It says so right in the recipe. Well, ladies and gents, let's make us some real Westfall stew. Alright, so let's start with the quest ingredients. First up, okra. That's straight up a real plant. It exists and you can buy it. And just like in the game, you can only stack 10. The 11th one will just roll off. Next up, gore tusk snout. Now we may not have real gore tusks, but we do have real snouts. This is Guanciale. It is cured pig's cheek. It's real popular in Italy and it's the main ingredient in pasta carbonara. It's very fatty cut, but it's also extremely delicious. Then there's stringy vulture meat. Now, what we have to do here is to find the stringiest poultry that's available to us. My recommendation would be goose, especially wild-caught goose that has migrated at least once, because that's going to be some of the toughest and leanest meat you can find. Now, unfortunately, I don't know any hunters at the moment, so I had to settle for turkey, which is not bad either. I don't know what that is, but it looks like a snack. Oh. Lastly, there's murloc eyes, and I have to apologize because I kind of copped out on this one. I couldn't find any real fish eyes for love nor money, so there's this dish out there called fish eye stew, which uses portobello mushrooms because they kind of look like fish eyes, and that's the route I took here. Please don't be mad. So that's all well and good, but a stew is more than just a bunch of meat. It's gonna need vegetables and spices. Now, to me, Westfall always kind of reminded me of the South, the southern US, that is, particularly kind of northern Texas and Oklahoma. So that's what I'm going to be using as my inspiration, kind of culinarily speaking. I mean, come on, if you look at it, this place looks like it'll have a level 19 dust devil come out of nowhere and chase your level 12 character all the way back to Elwyn. I mean, there it goes. There it goes. Woo! So, vegetables. Any stew needs a good vegetable base. If you're French, you'd call it a mirepoix. If you're Italian, you'd call it a sofrito. If you're German, you'd call it a suppengrün. And there's a particular vegetable combination that's kind of unique to the southern US, and it's called the Holy Trinity. It's actually from Louisiana, kind of that swampy area, not so much Oklahoma I was just talking about, but it is bell peppers, it's celery, and it's onion, and of course garlic. So that's what we're going to be using as the base of our stew. So let's get going. We'll start with chopping up one big white onion. We're going to want to do a rough dice on account of this will be stewing for like a long time, an hour plus. Anything smaller than this is going to really sort of go mushy and dissolve, so you want to have big chunks. We're going to do the same for the bell peppers. Again, a general rough cut, a rough dice. And of course the same thing for the celery as well. Give it a rough cut. Make sure that the bits are more or less equally sized. It's not an exact science cooking, but you know, it will help with the final texture if everything is more or less the same size. Then we want to peel, crush, and press our garlic and put that in a designated garlic glass. And of course, any good stew needs a few spices too. And for our spice mix, I'll again be going with the more Cajun-inspired style. So for our spices, we will have smoked paprika, dried oregano, dried thyme, onion powder, and garlic powder. And let's get cooking. So we're going to start off taking our guanciale. Now, like I said, it's a very fatty cut with only a little bit of meat, especially if you use the butt end like I did. It's also quite tough, so you may want to use your biggest and your sharpest knife to cut it up. Now, what we're going to try to do is to cut it up into small cubes. I'm going to use that mostly to extract the fat from it and then to cook our vegetables and other meat in that fat. It's going to turn up nice and crispy, and it's going to offer us a nice sort of contrast texture-wise in the entire stew. Then next up we want to cut our okra. No no special instructions here. Again, you sort of cut them up in the same kind of size that you cut up your other vegetables. In my case, it's about a centimeter or two. And then we can get to cooking proper. Now, for a stew like this, what I'd recommend is a big, heavy pot, something like a Dutch oven, or in any case, like a cast iron enameled pot. Although, in all fairness, any pan will do. I don't want to be elitist about it. Anything you got, you can make it work. So, put in our guanciale first, put it on low heat, have it just extract that fat, real slow, real easy, making sure not to burn anything. Now, after a while, it'll keep sizzling and all the fat will come out, and we'll have a good solid layer of fat bubbling at the bottom of the pan there. And we're going to use that to fry off our turkey in. We're going to take the bits of guanciale out, we're going to increase the heat, and we're going to use that higher heat to brown off the turkey on all sides. That kind of crispiness on the outside, the Maillard reaction, if you're a nerd, I guess, that's really gonna enhance the flavor in the final product. And after browning the turkey thigh like this, we're going to put it in an oven dish. I'm going to throw it in the oven for about 30 to 45 minutes at 180 degrees. So next up for us would be to fry our vegetables. We're going to take our holy trinity that we talked about, and we're going to throw that in that pot with that delicious guanciale fat and let it fry off. We're going to keep stirring it, keeping it on sort of medium-high heat until it's nice and fragrant. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Dirge, that's too much fat. And you'd be wrong, because what we're going to do is we're going to take some flour and we're going to sprinkle that over our vegetable mix. And that flour is going to bind to the fat and it's going to make a roux, R-O-U-X. That's a French word. It means, I don't know what it means, but it's going to make a sort of amalgamation. And then what we're going to do next is we're going to add in our spices, our herb and spices mix, and we're going to stir that through as well. Now, once we add in our bouillon or our broth, that's going to mix with that roux and it's going to give our stew a little bit of body. It's going to make it a little bit more dense than it would have otherwise been. And a bit of body to a stew is always a good thing, because otherwise it would just be a sad soup, right? Then we're going to take our guanciale that we kept aside and put it back into the stew. Then we're going to take out our turkey thigh again out of the oven, which has been in there for about 45 minutes now. We're going to put that into our stew, and that is going to give some more flavor to the stew, and the stew is going to give some more flavor to the turkey, and it's just a wonderful symbiotic relationship where everybody benefits. So now we're going to fast forward 45 minutes. The stew has been stewing, and hopefully you've been just hanging out. So at this point, the vegetables are going to be really thoroughly cooked, and hopefully the turkey is going to be, well, good enough to eat. Now, any stew needs a good carb to go with it. Now, again, using this like southern USA inspiration, let's make some grits to go along with this. Grits is just corn flour mixed with water, and if you're from the civilized world, you may know this as polenta. So that's what we're going to be using. Besides that, we're also going to be frying off the okra again. We're going to be using a pan with high heat, We're gonna throw the okra in there, and from what I've heard, that's something that would reduce the sliminess, because okra is kind of slimy and it doesn't have the best like mouth texture. So hopefully that'll solve it. Once the okra has been nice and scorched, we're gonna throw that in with the stew. And at the same time, we're gonna fry some butter in a skillet, and we're gonna put our portobello mushrooms, our murloc eyes, in there. We're also going to put the lid on that pan to contain some of that heat, because without that, the mushrooms may burn before they cook through, because portobello mushrooms are pretty thick. We're going to take our graduated cylinder of 250 milligrams of polenta, and we're going to put that into our pan of 1 liter of boiling water. Now we want to gradually pour our polenta in there. We don't want to do it all at once, and we're going to want to stir all the while as we are pouring that in. Slow and steady wins the race on this one. So then, once we're done with that, we can plate up. So we can take some of that polenta, we'll put that down on a plate as like a base layer. Next up, we're gonna take some of the stew. Now, this is the real Westfall stew that we've been working towards, and it's the real flavor bomb. We're gonna take some ladles of that, we're gonna pour it over our polenta, or grits, if you will. And then over the top of that, we're going to take some of our stringiest of vulture meat. And to top it all off, we're going to take a murloc eye, or portobello mushroom, and put that on top of it all. And let's try it out. Let's see what it's like. And now the taste of the stew is really pretty good. Maybe I shouldn't be surprised, but the spices and the vegetables combined, they make a great combination. It is just a really nice thing to eat. So next up, let's go for the ultimate bite. Let's take a bit of murloc eye. We're gonna take a bit of stringy vulture meat. We're gonna take a bit of the stew, and we're gonna take a bit of gore tusk snout as well. Let's see how that tastes. And it's good. It is really good. And in all honesty, I think we're not missing out because there's no fishy flavor in here, right? It's lovely. It's great. I would recommend anybody watching this to try it out. It's not the easiest recipe. It's not the quickest one, but it definitely does pay off. And my recommendation would be to have a bowl of Westfall stew together with a jar of Dalaran Red. It's a great combination, and it's a real experience. I want to thank everybody for watching, and if you do try this out, do please let me know. The full written recipe will be down in the description, and I will see you next time.